Good morning everyone, and welcome to day 255,642 on board the Axiom. Weather, as always, is a balmy 72 and sunny, and I've just realised it is the 700th anniversary today of our 3-week quarantine, so why not celebrate next mealtime and get yourself a free set to a centennial cupcake in a cup? Well, look at that. Here's some wrestling news. Plans have changed for a top WWE star. We have the reason that Roman Reigns is still being advertised for WrestleMania 36. And an NXT star talks about why their call-up failed. We'll get to that in a little bit. So lots continues to change as we get closer to WrestleMania 36. It's this weekend. It's an event that's so big. It's going to be on 2 nights across multiple locations. One of them possibly being a graveyard. Can't wait. And things will be changing on WWE television following WrestleMania as well. We have previously reported that one half of the Authors of Pain, Razor, is currently injured. These guys just can't get a break, can they? Like, one always seems to be injured ever since the call-up. They were just starting to really get the wheels are turning as part of Seth Rollins' gang of lads, the church, the gathering, the flock, whatever they're called. But it looks as if not only is Razor off television now, but it looks like his tag team partner Akam can be off as well. Dave Meltzer on the Wrestling Observer says, right now the decision is not to use Akam without Razor. So there are no plans for either of them to be appearing on television right now. So Seth Rollins, going forward, has lost 2 of the heavies of his gang. But that might not be all. Buddy Murphy is in doubt now. PW Insider have written, Murphy was originally slated to appear on this Monday's Raw broadcast, so tonight's episode of Raw. But we are told that he was not cleared to appear and will also not be appearing on WrestleMania 36's broadcast. As of now, everything for WrestleMania is well and truly in the can, so if he missed this week, then he's not going to be there at all. This is a real shame for what was turning into a really great stable / faction angle for the Monday Night Messiah, just to kind of whimper out like this. I know there were big plans, should WrestleMania have gone on ahead the way that it was meant to, for a big blow-off that would probably see the stable continue without Seth Rollins possibly. But now it looks like the stable won't be happening at all. It has been reported that after WrestleMania, Seth Rollins is due to take a little bit of time away. That was the rumor and innuendo, at least anyway. Obviously, what with everything that is currently going on in the world, we don't know how much of that has changed, but certainly if Seth Rollins continues beyond WrestleMania, it looks like it might be without his team around him, which is a shame. A lot of people were quite surprised when they watched SmackDown on Friday. No, not the fact that Elias didn't die when he fell back first onto the concrete. No, not that. More the fact that WWE continue to push Roman Reigns versus Goldberg as one of the main attraction matches for WrestleMania 36. This is despite the fact that it is now very well known that Roman Reigns is not going to be a part of WrestleMania 36. We reported here on Friday that as Roman Reigns is immunocompromised, he expressed some discomfort with being part of the show and said, I'm not going to do it. See you in a bit. And WWE went, you know what, we totally understand. You go and do what you need to do. So there's no ill will, there's no bad vibes there at all, none of that. But Roman is off WrestleMania 36. So we were a bit confused when we watched SmackDown to see the heavy sell for Roman versus Goldberg, a match that very much isn't happening. For this, and maybe some answers to this, we turn to Fightful, who say, we've been told that much of the crew involved with the build to WrestleMania 36 found out that Roman Reigns wouldn't be participating on Wednesday. So just as they were kind of in the middle of all this set of tapings, they found out that Roman Reigns wouldn't be a part of the show. Now, Also, this has been reported that the company had already taped episodes of Friday Night SmackDown leading up to WrestleMania when the crew became aware. So SmackDown was already in the can and good to go for WrestleMania before Roman Reigns said, yeah, I'm probably not gonna do much more of this. We're going to see how they play this out on WWE television next week and even this week, because it's a bit naughty to be away from everything. Like, Roman Reigns absolutely right to step away from WrestleMania 36 with obviously as he is immunocompromised, absolutely the right thing to do. But to keep advertising it kind of harkens back to 1999 when WWF knew that Steve Austin wouldn't make Survivor Series, but they continued to advertise Steve Austin versus Triple H versus The Rock, triple threat for the WWF title, and then we had the bait and switch mobile hit Steve Austin a little bit later on that very night, and that wrote him out. Yeah, it feels a bit like that. Feels a bit naughty when you know that's not happening, but these are very, very uncharted waters for everybody. And if the show is in the can right now, and you've got segments that involve Roman and Goldberg going back and forth, unless you drop in another match from the WWE Network to pad the time, which I guess you could do. I guess you could. I don't know how many matches from next week's SmackDown is going to be filler. So obviously last week we had Triple H versus Roman Reigns from prior WrestleMania. And again, like, you put that in post, so you know that's happening. Really uncharted times. I'm not excusing them for false advertising, but we've got a week to go. They have a week to kind of come up with a solution to this and announce this in some way, shape or form. We will see what they do. A lot of people are asking the question when it comes to WrestleMania, why on earth are you doing it? Why? Why is WrestleMania going on? I still see a lot of tweets from people. Even I had a tweet yesterday from somebody saying they should just cancel it. Well, they can't now because it's kind of done. It's in the can. It's all recorded. We might as well just get what they've recorded and then crack on with our lives. Triple H was on SportsCenter on ESPN last night. They aired an old school WrestleMania last night, and afterwards, Triple H via dad Skype cam type arrangement was chatting to SportsCenter, and they asked the question that we've all been asking, which is like, why through all of this is WrestleMania still going ahead? And Triple H gave us the following answer. You know, in this time, entertainment for people is a necessity. Our fans are there for us year round. We've been doing this for years, and we have a message in the WWE. Our jobs are to put smiles on people's faces all over the globe, and we truly believe that. And in this time, maybe more than ever in any other in my memory, people need those smiles right now more than anything. So we choose to carry on and to try and be able to deliver those smiles. So Triple H with a very straightforward answer to why this is going ahead. There's obviously a little bit more to it, I do believe, but the answer is that we all need a little bit of escapism. And I guess watching WWE in empty arenas is slightly better than not watching it at all, maybe? I don't know. Your thoughts in the comments. Like, would you be upset if... Like, I think they talked about this, actually, the lads talked about this on the Cultaholic podcast this week. You know, should WWE have an off-season after WrestleMania this year? I feel like that once we get over the finish line for WrestleMania, maybe a couple of weeks off, but they seem adamant on keeping this momentum going. We will see, but as Triple H says, it's good to offer a bit of escapism. As I've said on Twitter a few times, I am fascinated by WrestleMania this year. It is a beautiful hot mess what they're putting together, and you know, and nothing but like, and this goes without saying. I know we can argue the toss forever about whether or not it should be happening, what with the current pandemic in the world, and well, you know, and the fact that it's going ahead at the whims of people at top, it's happening, and massive respect to the people that are actually making this happen, because they've been told this is what's happening and they're doing their best to make it happen. Nothing but love to those people who've gone, you know what, I'm just gonna step away from this. Nothing but love to them as well. But for people who are somehow trying to cobble together a WrestleMania this year, like they've just been given a massive bag. Do you know what they're trying to do? They're trying to Apollo 13, the WrestleMania 36 this year. They are Apollo 13ing WrestleMania this year. So massive respect to those people who've just been given a box full of random implements and gone, there we go. Those lads over there need a WrestleMania. Let's make one. And finalement, for a Monday, Alexander Wolf, formerly of Sanity, currently of Imperium, was chatting to GF de Talk, which is a German wrestling chat show on Twitch about all sorts of things. Obviously, Alexander Wolf has a massive legacy in Europe. You know, he's a European guy. And he's doing great things in WWE right now as part of Imperium and NXT UK. But it wasn't always perfect for one Wolf. As we know, he was part of the call-up from NXT for Sanity, the faction led by Eric Young, and it just didn't really click, did it? You know, it was great to see Eric Young and Killian Dane and Nikki Cross and Alexander Wolf all get called up to the main roster, but it didn't really stick. And Alexander Wolf sheds a little bit of light on why that call-up failed. He says the Sanity debut on the main roster was supposed to happen at Money in the Bank in 2018. However, the storyline did not fit, so it was pushed back a month. But then, on the show that we debuted on, the match before us went too long, and that is why the debut went the way it did, all because of a live production. Anything can happen. Sanity did not work because of ongoing scheduling problems and other programs and developments that came before us. He says nice things about Vince McMahon in this bit though. He says Vince McMahon is always reachable for pitching ideas and storylines. Stories will go through the writer's office, and if you are lucky, they'll make it happen for you. The experience boost from 1 year on the main roster was great though, and Nikki Cross, Eric Young and Killian Dane are still friends to this day. Nikki Cross, even though she was not on the main roster with us, is part of the team no matter where she goes. So Nikki Cross wasn't called up initially with the Sanity guys, and so she came up a little bit later of her own accord, and she's done her own thing, and she's probably been the most successful member of Sanity out of all of them, despite the fact she wasn't called up at the same time as them. I'm really gutted about this because Sanity was one of those groups that I was genuinely really excited by when they got called up. There was such a cool look about them in NXT, and I thought this is going to be really exciting, but it just felt like a lot of things conspired against it, and it feels as if just getting Sanity over just wasn't a priority for WWE at that point, which is why it kind of fell to the wayside, which is a real shame. Eric Young now propping up main event, him and Ricochet. Weird times. We'd like to point out that spent most of the video trying to bribe Pablo to come up and say hello, and he literally waits until I turn the camera off to come and say hi. So there he is. I feel like cats equal stats these days. So that's the end of the news. I've got nothing left to tell you. Here's Pablo eating some dreamies.